Hi everyone, good evening, good morning, etc, etc. Sorry if you hear noise, my door's open because once again it's a bit too hot. Mary is about to be taken to the vet because she's not feeling very good. She's had like a jelly belly for a while. So I think they are preparing to remove her from the house. Not like remove her. Are spoilers out for 11:37 already? Fuck, it's Tuesday, isn't it? Alright, hang on. This is why I like break weeks. Are they out? Surely not, right? I don't think so. Yeah, I don't think they'd be out yet. Alright, then we're fine. Yeah, Blueberry's fine. Mary's the one that is currently not feeling good. I think the ones that are out right now are fake. Totally fake. They tend to be anyways. Or they're just text. And a lot of the time they're not credible. Alright, anyways, who cares? I'm sure no one will say anything. Everyone knows the drill. I tried, I couldn't record last night for the chapter review, which I wanted to do, but I couldn't because I fell asleep. And I can't record during the day because it's way too loud. So for now I'm going to be editing the Robin and Sanji video. And I still haven't been able to video record as well, so I'm still only stuck on the full on like visual editing regarding the audio portions. So it's currently a pretty incomplete video, but it's not that many care. It's my work after all. Okay. Oops. That was Mario Party. There we go. Let me put on music. I'm not. Oh, EP. I was EP. Yeah, I fell asleep last night. Hopefully, after I finish doing some editing today, I can record the chapter review after this stream. Once everything's calmed down. Let's see. Like I said, if you hear noises, it's because my roommates are preparing to take Mary to the vet. I'm pretty sure. Yippee! You can hear Mary going, no! She's being put in the cage. Hi, Crash. Miss Piggy is my favorite Muppet. Miss Piggy is mean. God forbid women do anything. Oh my god, you just reminded me. The first time I cosplayed Doflamingo. Someone, like, wanted a photo with me. And they were like, are you Miss Piggy? And I said, no, but for you I can be. I'm obsessed with that. Are you Miss Piggy? Doflamingo kind of does have a Miss Piggy appearance, doesn't he? I cannot do Miss Piggy's voice, I'm not even gonna try. I will embarrass myself. I can't do Kermit either, I'm not very talented. So I'm trying to pick a song to use. Texas? Oh my god, what was the sound for the boo-wop? I saw it though. Can you hear her? Popping? Popping what? Brittany and Aaron have just left and so she was like, I'm alone, I'm alone. And no, you're not, I'm home. Come on, jump up. Jump up. Come on. The separation anxiety this thing has. Hey, you do. All you do is go, wow, wow. Wow. Mwah. Stink girl. Oh. My pink hair's iconic, I know, that's why I can never lose it. I've already explained, but I'm letting it out for the world. Currently what I'm wearing is a wig. Because the bleaching has indeed gone into my head and seeped out my brain. So I've decided over this year I'm growing my hair out and then I will go back to the bleach and back to the pink, natural pink after this year. Because I like it too much. I just have to look after my head. Also, first time I got my hair bleached, I didn't know how to look after it. Now I know how to look after it. So I'm like, I might as well give her some time to heal, some time to grow out. Can hardly tell. I appreciate the lie. But thank you. Sorry, I saw something on my reflection on my roof and it scared me. What is with all these compliments today? You guys have woken up on the right side of the bed. Rolled in from Smile Town. Oh, sorry, I forgot about the music. I'm trying to decide what song I want to use here. I can't pick. Do not start insulting me. Maybe the basement was a construct of the mind, a mental saw trap, if you will. Mel, the psychosis jigsaw. I wish. Also, thank you for the sub, Nino, and also someone subbed earlier in the stream as well. Thank you for that as well. It is a Sanji Robin combo video, so this video is half about Robin, half about Sanji. Because it has to be. My skin looks so authentic today. Thanks. I had to peel off my old layer this morning. I had to shed. I successfully shedded off the old layer. Sanji's half is actually probably not going to be longer. I think Robin's is longer. Sanji video with Robin in it. Mm. It's hard. Look, top 3 Straw Hats is hard because I just know Sanji's my number 1. And then after that, I like all of them. I've always said, if/when Vivi joins permanently, like is on the ship, she'll definitely be my number 2. After that, I just cannot rank them. Like, how are you supposed to put Luffy anywhere? And how are you supposed to put, like, Nami anywhere, and Zoro anywhere? And, like, Robin anywhere, and Frankie anywhere, and Jinbei anywhere? Because, like, every single time I met a new Straw Hat, I was like, oh, I'm not gonna care about this guy. And then I cared about this guy. It's that thing where it's like the Straw Hats, they will all get a moment that'll make me go, oh my god, I love them. Like, it's hard to rank them. I just can't. Look, I shat my pants when Jinbei popped up in Wano. Like, his appearance in Wano was insane! I cheered! I actually cheered. I was so happy he was there. And also in Elbaph, I'm just here for the sights. I love him. Oh, bobbing, 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 bobbing. Bobbing, bobbing, bobbing. No. I do want to do a video on Kid, but Kid is another character I'm waiting to see some more because I have a strong feeling that he's gonna be around for Elbaph. Yep, anyone who tries to argue a Straw Hat is less important than any other Straw Hat does not understand the story. Like, I always say that confidently. I know people get uppity. I understand the story! If you think a Straw Hat is least important than another Straw Hat, no you don't. I always say that with much confidence. You don't understand the story and you don't understand Luffy. That much is clear! Kuma I definitely have to do a video on now that Egghead is done. And now that I've gotten much more information on him. And I love him. I think Luffy's Straw Hat might be the most important Straw Hat. Bobbing, bobbing! I mean, the crew's literally named after it. Oh, Bobbing's so cute. And that's why What is your name? The man Danim? I don't know what that means, but that's why they and I always have to bring this up, that's why there is no first mate on the Straw Hats. I've always said if I ever make a video about One Piece misconceptions, that fucking first mate role would be the #1 thing. There's a misconception that there is a first mate on the Straw Hats. There just isn't. Oh, Bob being shook. She's lying on my arm. I also thought, I remember saying this on Twitter when I first started One Piece. Oh, because I was like, because someone would, like, I was reading through One Piece and they never called Zoro the first mate. And I was like, am I like stupid, or is Zoro the first mate? Because he was the first to join. And someone said first mate does not mean first to join. It just means they have been appointed the role to be like, you know, the co-captain essentially. And Zoro wasn't appointed that. And I was like, oh, like even I thought first to join meant first mate. But apparently, when it comes to Shanks and Yasopp and Ben Beckham, apparently Yasopp joined first, but Ben Beckman, apparently he's the first mate. I had no idea. And after that, I was like, oh, so there is no first mate on the Straw Hats, and I was tricked. Tricked by the fandom, not by Oda. Right, that's my favorite fact. Telling people that the first mate role actually comes from first mate ship, which was like a gay marriage for pirates. Yeah. The amount of people that don't know that, oh my god. I can't believe it's only been 4 months with Mel. I feel like I've been here forever. Oh, time just flies, you know? Time flies when you're with loved ones. But first mate comes from like first mateship, which was like gay pirate marriage. That's where that came from. The amount of people that don't know that is so funny, and it's like they fucking straight washed first mate. Ah. Artie, okay, let me talk about that, because I see where you're coming from, but I'm not sure why it bothers you, because we have to remember that the reason Kuma was working for the world government was because he was protecting Bonnie. Zoro and Luffy was part of that. And we also knew at the time Kuma was friends with Dragon, or we knew afterwards that Kuma and Dragon and Iva were like all a little trio, right? So we have to remember that Kuma was working for the world government for Bonnie's sake. And he was there to take Luffy's head as an agent of the world government, or as a tool of the world government. So yes, there was all risk there, because if it meant helping Bonnie, then Kuma would 1000% have done that. But because he saw how much Zoro, Sanji, Luffy, how much the Straw Hats cared about each other, his heart went out to them. Because Kuma relates to that. Kuma relates to having someone you care about so much, you'd rather have yourself be put on the chopping block, right? Than them. That is literally Kuma's life. That's Kuma's entire purpose of like existence, you know? So he saw that, and he saw both Zoro and Sanji stand up for Luffy, not want Luffy to go, said take my head instead. And that appealed to Kuma and Kuma's humanity. He just couldn't do it after that. Like, he was by all means willing to let Zoro die, because he was going to take Zoro's head, or Luffy's head, if it meant being able to successfully fulfill his purpose or his goals that the world government had given him, the Marines or whatever. But he just couldn't do it, because they simply appealed to his humanity in the moment, because he saw himself in that moment. And that's also why, when Bonnie saw the moment, she talked to Luffy and said, wow, I still think it's funny that she doesn't bring up Zoro, but she still talked to Luffy and said, wow, your cook is like amazing, a good cook and a good fighter, because she saw that moment through Kuma's eyes, and she also saw all of Kuma's story as well, Kuma's life. She understood why Kuma couldn't do it in that moment, because that was Kuma's life, that he witnessed Zoro and Sanji trying to sacrifice themselves for their captain. But yeah, the Kuma video, look, the Kuma video will probably come off the Alabasta video, but that's my point. So there was 1000% a real threat there, because we must remember Kuma was being blackmailed to be where he was. And who knows the people he'd taken out due to being blackmailed. It's just that he couldn't deal with what he saw, because it just struck his heart and struck his soul. Because remember, the whole point of Kuma is that humanity. No matter how much of a robot he became, or no matter how much of a government tool he became, a mindless drone he became, his heart and his humanity was so strong, it went against science. Vegapunk even said that. Kuma running across from Mary Joie to get to Bonnie because he knew she was in danger, that was against science. But it's because Kuma loved her so much that he just couldn't stand it. He literally went against what was improbable to save his daughter. And that's why, like, it just, like, that's why I love Kuma and Kuma's story so much, because the whole thing is Kuma's humanity, his soul, his love was so powerful. Nothing could stop it. Nothing could undo it. And that's similar to what he saw with Zoro and Sanji and Luffy. He just couldn't take him out. It hurt him too much. But yeah, look, one day I will make that Kuma video, because Kuma's story is literally all about humanity and love. Those are all the themes I just adore. Oh my god! Actually, Kuma should have died! Thank you very much. I can't believe Kuma's gonna get a happy ending. Ugh! I watch One Piece because I want to be depressed! Thank you very much. I want to read One Piece because I hate the world. And One Piece should hate the world with me. Thank you very much. Ugh! I'm sick of this. What do you mean someone had a traumatic life and they get a happy ending? That's not realistic! How dare they? Kuma should have stayed a slave, and he should have died a slave. I hate Oda and his fantasies. Bonnie should have watched him die. Actually, everything Kuma should have done should have been for nothing. Because you know what? Kuma should have died, and then Bonnie should have died as well. Because they wanted her dead. What the fuck, Oda? You promised me death! How dare you! I'm sick of this. How dare Bonnie get her father back? I wanted her to be sad and depressed and parentless. This is pissing me off. Cheese piece. Choice. I've been looking for songs this whole goddamn time. And while we're at it, what do you mean the guy who's made clones of himself has another clone? That's ridiculous. Why are you a girl? Why are you a woman? What is happening with these two? Look, I'll never forget Egghead simply because there were so many people saying, Kuma's gonna die, Kuma's gonna die. And I was one of the only people saying, I can see this going either way because Oda likes happy endings. Right? So the people who go, oh, it's bad writing, it's bad writing. No, it's not. Because Oda has always promised us a happy ending. And it's like, it's not bad writing because it didn't go the way you wanted it to go. It's not bad writing if Oda continually writes his usual themes of a happy ending. Like, Oda has consistently written happy endings. Even though he has written Ace dying, and that much is true, yes, even that has resulted in bigger things and better things. I can't see the bigger, better thing that would come from Kuma dying on Bonnie's behalf. She's already lost her fucking mother. She was already trapped for how many years in that fucking castle with a disease. She's already the child of like very disgusting means. Yes, more! More! Bonnie deserves more! She doesn't deserve anything! Only more trauma, more torture! In fact, she deserves less! Take everything from her! Like, it's just ridiculous. Well, that's the thing, like, again, it's just people are so hell-bent Kuma's gonna die. I'll just never forget that, and I was always the one saying, but Oda's a cheesy guy. I can totally see him wanting Kuma to survive or keeping Kuma alive. I'll be honest, this Stella just made me laugh only because, of course, the guy who made clones of himself has yet another fucking clone. This is literally the clone guy whose clones have survived up in the sky. It is totally not a stretch that there is a Stella clone at all. Like, there's multiples, because there were multiple of his other clones as well. But also, I'm expecting this other Stella clone to be defective in some kind of way because devil fruits was something he could not replicate properly to any kind of extent. Like, I genuinely laughed because I was like, the clone guy has more clones. Of fucking course. Like, of course Clone Man has more clones. What was I expecting? Well, the thing is, I don't think it was unnecessary because we got a reasonable explanation for it, which was, of course I wasn't able to leave the lab and be able to come to places like Elbaph with the world government on my ass. So I made a clone that was able to explore. Like, to me, that very much sounds like Oda had that ready. Because, yeah, that does make sense. Otherwise, there would have been a problem, wouldn't there? How the fuck did he go to Elbaph with the world government on his ass when Elbaph is not world government affiliated? That sounds to me like Oda thought, this feels like this might be a problem. the clone guy has a traveling clone. But also, again, we don't know what this clone actually is. Do you know what I mean? Which is why I'm saying, for all we know, it's gonna be defective in some way. How does it undermine the existence of the satellites? Because I don't think it undermines it, it just adds on to the satellites, does it not? He literally cut out his brain, and his brain is still alive. Why does having another physical body clone add to any, like, not, like, take away from anything? Like, I don't think that undermines anything. The whole point of Vegapunk is, like, death of the body is nothing to him. Or the body itself is nothing to him. Like, Vegapunk is only going to be dead when that brain in that jar is dead. That's kind of the whole point. So, I have absolutely no gripes with Stellar Clone, with an old Stellar Clone. Because first of all, Oda, of course. Second of all, he's gonna be alive so long as that brain is alive. And we know that brain is alive. The physical to Vegapunk simply doesn't matter. It's not unnecessary though, because remember what I said. He needed that clone to be able to wander, right? To be able to explore. That was the point. So I'm sure when this guy comes out, congratulations by the way, I'm sure when this guy pops out, it's going to have some important relevance to why he's being kept around. Like for now, we can say, oh, this is just so irrelevant. I'm betting you there's a reason that he has been shipped over to Elbaph. There's going to be some kind of relevance to him existing. I.e., for all we know, Yorkie is still alive, right? Sorry, York is still alive. And for all we know, this old clone still has a connection to York. And that'll be a problem. Like, I think it's way too early stages right now to say, oh, it's unnecessary. How do we know? What is Oda going to do with this? He doesn't just add things in because he wants to. Like, he's probably not just adding this in because, oh, I want to keep Stella around. There's probably going to be some narrative reason that he's brought this guy down. Or it's going to pop out and it's not even going to look like him. Well, then that's what I'm telling you. I'm saying, then be patient. We've only just found out that there's a Stellar clone. And we've only just found out the reason there's a Stellar clone. We have no idea what the purpose of this guy is going to serve as of yet, and I have a feeling the purpose of it is going to serve something important. Otherwise, that's a point. Otherwise, why? I'll agree with you if we get to know more about this Stellar clone, and there's kind of just no reason for it. But so far, we have no idea. We have no idea. He hasn't even come out of the box yet. I'm saying, I'm sure, because Oda doesn't just add things. I bet you that guy's gonna pop out of the box and there's gonna be either something wrong with it or something narratively driven about it. But I definitely think we are in way too early stages with the Stellar clone to determine, is this necessary or not? I really do think we are. Like, again, we haven't even seen it yet, so how are we supposed to know? I'm gonna laugh. What if it's not even in there? What if there's like a bomb in there? Because I do find it suspicious that it's in a box that we cannot see it in. We can't see anything from it. So what is this reveal going to be? There's clearly going to be some kind of reveal from this thing. It swapped Disney's head. But I always have to remind, when it comes to this kind of stuff, we are reading it week to week and we are in very early stages. The people that have determined, oh, this is unnecessary, We don't even know what the fuck it looks like. We don't even know what it looks like. How can you possibly say it's unnecessary? We haven't even seen it yet. We've had a single mention of it. We have yet to know. That's also true. What if Vegapunk wants the world to think he's dead for what he's about to do? Right? And what better way to show the world he's dead by having Kizaru himself think he's killed Vegapunk? That's very possible. God, I'm still looking for... Can be completed in the background. I hope Kuma's not in the background. I saw that. I saw some people say, I want Kuma stuff to be in the background. I disagree. I want to see Kuma come back. I want to see that reaction, and I want to see Bonnie crying in his arms, saying, Daddy, I'm so glad you're back. Why do people want that to be a background thing? That is going to be a huge emotional climax, an investment for us as well. It is for me. Why are people such haters? I want Bonnie and Kuma to have... Oh, you're not saying what I want. Okay. But I have seen that though. I want Kuma and Bonnie to have a happy ending, and for some reason people beat you up for that? What in the... Oh, I sure hope Kuma and Bonnie get a happy ending. No! What the fuck? That little girl needs to suffer! What is wrong with you? Oh my god. It's insane! How dare I want Bonnie and Kuma to have a happy ending? That is bad writing. Well, that's the thing. Suffering builds character. Kuma has suffered. Bonnie has suffered. A happy ending doesn't mean you haven't suffered. That's just such a ridiculous idea. You have only suffered if you have suffered to the very end. How dare you have a happy ending through your suffering? How dare you survive through the suffering to meet the dawn on the horizon? What? What a dumb thing to say. Puppy! La 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 la. Personally, I think Nami and her whole entire village should have just died against Arlong. Like, what was the point of her suffering if no one died? Apart from, I guess, her mother, but who cares? That was in the past, you know? Like, what was Oda trying to say with that? I also think Zeph should have died on the Baratier. He literally had a gun to his head. What was the point? I get why Pell survived, I just do agree that was a big explosion. I totally get the point of Pell surviving, and I like what Oda was trying to say with it. It's just, that explosion was massive. Pell's the only one where I'm like, I get it. I'm glad Pell's alive. Oh, you're going with the bit. Sorry, my bad. Look, you don't understand. Some people don't get it. Also, Kaya should have died as well. Kaya and those 3 kids should have died. Usopp as well. Those stories were just... they had no purpose. No one died. Well, it's the crazy thing is everyone in One Piece suffers. Everyone. We have not met a single One Piece character that hasn't suffered. It's just they get a new dawn. They quite literally get a new and fresh start, and they escape the suffering. They are able to claw their way out of hell to a better place. And people don't like that. It's just so bizarre. Saying that Robin God, I'm sorry. That's the dumbest thing I've ever heard. Like, respectfully, if you are unhappy with Saul being alive, okay, that's your opinion. But saying Saul being alive erases Robin's suffering is just absolutely bizarre. It is so bizarre. Like, well, why did Robin have to suffer then? Why does anything have to fucking happen to anyone? Like, how the fuck was Robin meant to know? And we know Saul couldn't get to her. And I see it as the point is, Robin still suffered. Of course she still suffered, right? She still suffered. She still had to go through that pain. And she wanted to die. But if she had died, she never would have found out Saul was still alive. She never would have had Saul saying, "Thank God you survived. Thank God you're alive." She never would have found Saul again. And that's the point. Is it not? The whole point is Robin still suffered, but had she not made it through that suffering, she would have not been able to meet Saul again because she didn't even know he was alive. And I really don't understand oh, she suffered for nothing. She suffered and she was able to see Saul again. This was not a baseless suffering. I just do not understand where that came from. Also, and this is going to sound crazy, suffering having a point is such a dangerous way to think. Suffering having a point does not tend to be the point of suffering. Sometimes people just suffer. Nami. Why was Nami suffering throughout Arlong Park? What was the point of that? What was the point of Sanji suffering through his childhood? What was the point of Kuina dying? What is the point of any of this suffering? There is no point for suffering. That's the point. Suffering is just cruel. Why can't we be happy that although Robin went through this hell, she discovered Saul was alive and she got that happy ending that she was dying to have, that she nearly died for? I don't get why that is such a terrible thing. Like, I understand if you're disappointed Saul is alive, okay? Do not call that bad writing. It is not bad writing. What Robin went through was not pointless. It is a crazy thing to say that. Just because someone she didn't know was alive was still alive doesn't mean what she went through was pointless. What a bizarre and odd thing to say. It is just such an odd thing to say. Yeah, why did you suffer? It's just insane. The funniest thing when it comes to Saul as well is, like, people saying, well, it came out of nowhere, and how I totally disagree with that to such an insane extent, because we know Kuzan and Saul were friends. We have seen Luffy and Robin survive Kuzan's ice before. Garp? We have seen Garp. I see no one say Garp was a fake out death. Fucking no one said Garp was a fake out death. And we have seen that Saul was on a burning island to the point that he now is covered in burn scars. Not only did I read that scene and go, how the fuck did Saul die? When that happened at the time, there was so many speculations and theories of, I don't think Saul's dead, because how could this have killed him? There were so many things surrounding this that don't make sense for him to be dead. Like, you can argue that you don't like that Saul's alive, but the flags were there that he was alive, to the point that I was going, I don't know how that could have killed him. Well, some people would say he's dead, right? But my point is, a lot of people were saying, no, he's not. They were speculating he was not dead. I was one of them, because I was like, how did that kill him? I don't think that killed him. Because again, he was frozen on a burning island and frozen by a guy who was like his best friend. It didn't make sense to me at the time. And also, we know Kuzan has more of a humanity to him as well at the point. Because he saw what happened to the people of Ohara and he was disgusted. Like, it's one of those things where you can be shocked by it, but the more you think about it, it does make sense, and that's my argument. You can say, oh, well, how is he still alive? Okay, but think about it. and it does make sense. It's not like it doesn't make sense if you think about it. And that's the biggest issue that I have with stuff like that. If you think about it and it doesn't make sense, it's gonna piss you off. You think about it and it does make sense. You can argue you don't like it, that's fine. It's not bad writing, you personally just don't like it. Ice is eternal. But yeah, my argument is, well, my gripe is, you personally cannot like it, that's fine. But arguing that it's bad writing is where I'm like, you cannot say that, because it is not bad writing. Bad writing would mean none of this made sense. And again, Oda has consistently been a cheesy writer. He likes a happy ending. He wants people to have happiness. He wants One Piece to be an escape. He wants One Piece to be a what if for people. That's all he wants it to be. A lot of the time, that's what he wants it to be. So arguing that it's bad writing when Oda has been doing this again and again and again and again, and we've stuck through it, we've stuck with it through it all. A lot of people love that. That's just blatantly incorrect. It is not bad writing. You personally just don't like it. There's a huge difference. He did plant it! He literally planted it on Kuzan's introduction. The first thing Kuzan did was freeze both Robin and Luffy, and they both survived. And they weren't even on a burning island. Then we see that Kuzan and Saul were friends. Then we see that Saul is frozen with a move called Time Capsule on a burning island. And then we are told Saul had to stay in hiding, otherwise he was in danger. And he couldn't leave, or he would have probably died. It makes sense. Those things were planted. Oh, bye, Crash. But also, if you didn't see it coming... Okay, look, here's what I think is happening. It is romanticism, right? Here's what I think is happening. Some people don't see it coming. And some people... Thank you very much. You didn't get me, though. Some people don't see it coming. And some people are so hell-bent on this is the case, right? And then they do get tricked. And then they get upset that they were tricked because they are very hell-bent on this is the way it had to work. Because I've deemed this is how it had to work, right? And then that's what makes them angry, and then that's what they don't like. And they say this and this and this was pointless, this was pointless, this was pointless, and of course, no, it wasn't pointless. It never was pointless. You are saying it's pointless because you were tricked or you don't like that outcome. So then you call it bad writing and you call it cheap. But it is not cheap to rely on literal love and happy endings and a romanticism that we know One Piece has. Once again, on that what if. Oda has been doing this again and again and again and again. If at this point you are disappointed because Saul is alive, I don't know what to tell you. I don't know why you're reading One Piece anymore. We know this is how Oda works. We know how Oda wants to write his story. And once again, we know he wants to write happy endings. So why? You know what I mean? I think people just get upset that they didn't predict what was going to happen. And then they go, bad writing. Bad writing. And it's like, you're allowed to be surprised by a story, even if it's not the outcome you want. You're allowed to be surprised by it. You're allowed to not know what's going to happen. Because once again, Saul surviving does make sense. It does. I'm sorry to tell you that. It does. The more you think about it, the more it makes sense. And that's my issue. Yes, it makes sense. You're just upset that you didn't line the pieces up at the time. Oh, the ZKK shit was so funny. Also, you're a very lucky person who did Doffy thing. There are no mods in the chat right now. Like, I was ecstatic that Saul was alive because I was happy for Robin. And you know why I was happy for Robin? Because of how she suffered. Saying that suffering is pointless is crazy. Because we find out Saul's alive and Robin starts crying in joy because of how much she had suffered beforehand. And she is alive to find out Saul is alive. And that's the ridiculous nature of all of this. To say that it's pointless. And then Robin, we feel happy for Robin, or at least I feel happy for Robin. The majority of people feel happy for Robin. If you don't feel happy for Robin, it's because you're not focusing on those emotions. You're focusing on, oh my god, I was tricked. As if Oda is trying to make you feel like an idiot. And it's like, he's not trying to make you feel like an idiot. He's trying to make you feel happy for these characters that have gone through a hell worse than we could imagine. And that they get a happiness that they never thought they were going to be able to get. It's that simple. You're focusing more on your own my intelligence than the emotions that Oda's trying to bring across to you. It's simple that the emotions Oda was trying to bring across is not that Saul is dead. That's not what he was trying to make you feel. It's simple, the emotions Oda was trying to bring across is that Saul is alive and Robin gets to see him again. That's what he wants. That's his home run, not Saul being dead. Saul being alive was his home run. I don't know why people can't see that. Anyways, I still have to look for music. It's only been an hour. But it's too big of a leap for most people to make, but it's still and again, that's what I'm saying. Okay, so it's too big of a leap for some people to make, but then you get to it and you think about it and you go, okay, that makes sense. What I'm saying is, at the beginning, that doesn't matter. I'm saying that you should be watching the scene with Robin and Saul, and in that moment, you should be going, oh my god, has he really died? Oh, he has died. And then you find out he's alive and you go, oh my god, of course, because of all these things that were set up. I don't think that matters. I think thinking that Saul died in that moment, yes, that was the point. But some people did speculate, oh, he must be alive. So people that go, well, I thought he was dead, so he should be dead. And again, I'm saying they're angry because they felt tricked. And that made them feel that like they can't read the story. Do you know what I mean? But I'm like, that's kind of the point, is it not? Oda successfully made you feel in that moment Saul had been gone. And now when Saul is actually alive, you're supposed to feel what Robin feels. And you're supposed to go, oh my god, he's alive. And you're supposed to cry with her. People that cannot cry with Robin are people that, again, they're focusing more on their own person with wanting to feel intelligent reading this story than their own emotions as we are watching Robin's reaction. And that's just my issue with that. But my argument will always be, you can argue fake out death, fake out death, fake out death. Fine, argue it all you want. Here's my argument. Oda's been doing that since day one. We already know. We already know. Usopp had a fake out death, for fuck's sake. In Arlong Park, Usopp had a fake out death. But that was obvious. Okay, but that's still a fake out death. He's been doing this since day one. We know that Oda doesn't like killing characters, and this is something he will stick to. So if at this point, 25 years later, you are still complaining about it, I think you have to accept this is simply not the story for you. This is not the writing you were looking for. That's like my biggest argument. You can argue back and forth, back and forth, back and forth. I will still say no, it's not bad writing, because this is how Oda writes. He is not making anything not make sense. It's just that you personally do not vibe with the way he writes his story, with the way he writes these characters, and the way he writes these death scenes. If you don't vibe with it, that's fine. It's simply not a story for you. How the fuck are we 25 years into One Piece, over 1,000 chapters into One Piece, and this is still an argument that's being had? Stop reading it. You're clearly not enjoying it as much as other people. I'm enjoying the shit out of it because I've acknowledged this is not what Oda does with death. He simply does not like killing characters, and that's fine. I do not feel like I've been tricked. I do not feel like it's been cheapened, because I know Oda wants that happy ending. And if you can't accept that, I just don't know why you're still reading One Piece. Zoro should have died against Mihawk. Fake out death. He was literally, like, ready to die. He got sliced. Fraud Hawk, more like. Couldn't even kill a bum from the East Blue. Zoro should have died against Axehand Morgan, thank you very much. There was literally stringing him up to die. I hate these fake out deaths. Luffy should have died in the whirlpool! What do you mean he survived that? Unrealistic. I don't need to duke it out. I don't want to duke it out. They have their own opinions, I have mine. It's just the opinion, if it's bad writing, will always be something I totally disagree with. Because again, it's not bad writing, it's that you personally don't like it. Whatever Oda writes, it makes sense. There is nothing that I think about in One Piece and go, ah, that doesn't make sense. Oh, yay. Shanks literally... Luffy should have died against the serpent that Shanks saved him from. What a fucking fake out death, am I right? I mean, look, at the end of the day, I respect my fellow One Piece creators. We all like the series, and that's like the point, right? When I argue with anyone about One Piece, it's not because I hate them. It's not because I despise them. It's simply because I have enjoyed aspects of One Piece that I guess they haven't. And it just makes me want them to enjoy One Piece in the way I have as well. It's as simple as that. I love, like, this series so much because it's made me see another side to writing that I hadn't seen before. In that these happy endings can have the impact I never thought they could have. Because I used to be that person. I used to be, everyone should die, things should be disturbing, I should not be able to sleep at night thinking about this series because it's so sad. I used to be like that. One Piece totally changed my mind in that regard. It totally changed my mind. Now when people survive in One Piece, that is what keeps me up at night because I'm like vibrating in joy for what I'm seeing. One Piece makes me feel such joy that I never thought I could feel from a story with this cheesiness that I never thought I could care about. Well, One Piece it's literally an escape. It's romanticism and it's a what if, and it's why I love it so much. As I said in the reality of fantasy video, One Piece and Luffy is not a realistic portrayal of, like, our lives. It's a what if. It's a what if we could find this one person that can solve all our problems. What if we could all chase our dreams with our lives on the line? What if we could take down dictators and tyrants with a single punch, right? What if we could do all of this? It is supposed to be an escape. And it's supposed to be a joy that we are supposed to feel. It comes with some strife, of course, but it's a what if we went through all this suffering and we found a happy ending. And I think that's more powerful than anything I've read. What if our suffering does have a light at the end of the tunnel, right? What if this suffering, even in its pointless nature, still gives us a happiness that we didn't know we could have? And I just think that's so powerful, which is why I will always argue to hell and back that I love that Oda is cheesy. I want him to forever be cheesy. And what if our suffering doesn't define us, right? BoJack Horseman is another series that made me rethink this, because there's a moment in it where one of my favorite characters, Diane, she's trying to write a book, and she's trying to write about the traumas that she went through in her childhood, and she can't do it. And she's talking to Princess Carolyn, who's my favorite character, and she says to her, but I have to write this book. It has to be about what I went through, because otherwise what did I suffer for? What was the point of that suffering? And Princess Carolyn says, there was no point to the suffering. And that's something you'll have to come to terms with. The point is that you're here now. And I tell you fucking what? Ever since then, that's made me look at One Piece and think that same thing. There is no point to the suffering. What matters is where you are now. What matters is what you've been able to become. Suffering is not meant to mean anything. No one is supposed to go through any kind of suffering for a reason. Sometimes you just suffer. And sometimes you're allowed to have a happiness even if that suffering isn't part of it, right? That's the point. What? I love saying, hey, what? But that's what One Piece showed me as well. What was the point of all this suffering? Sometimes nothing. But that's fine, because you found this happiness at the end of the tunnel. Like, what was the point of Sanji starving on that rock? What was the point of Sanji suffering through that childhood? What was the point of any of that for him? There was no point. But it's okay, because he's him. He doesn't have to be defined by his suffering, and he didn't need to go through suffering to be where he is now. It was pointless, because all suffering is pointless. And yet here he is. He's happy and he's with a family he never thought he'd have. That's just clearly the point of it all. And that's why when it comes to Robin and what was the point of that suffering? There is no point to suffering. There is no point to anyone suffering. There was no point to Robin suffering, but she suffered. And now she's where she is, and now she can meet Saul and cry and say, I missed you so much. It's just that simple. To me, anyways. I think the funniest thing as well, I've noticed this as well, I've noticed trauma scaling in like One Piece. Because I've noticed this because Zoro, of course, he does not have a backstory that's as big as like the other Straw Hats, right? His suffering comparatively to the other Straw Hats is quite minimal. And I've noticed that a lot of Zoro fans or Zoro bros, right, who want to make Zoro a bigger character, I suppose, will try and argue that his backstory, oh, it is full of suffering. There's so much suffering. There's so much trauma. And it's so bizarre to me because on one hand, I do agree in the regard of what Zoro went through was traumatic. I'll always argue that. But it feels like to make a character a good character, they think they have had to go through something just insanely traumatic. And it feels like they had to make a character go through something that was just disturbing. So they try and argue that Zoro's backstory was more disturbing, or what Zoro went through was more disturbing than it originally was. And I hate that, because Zoro's backstory to me is so powerful. Or they want Zoro to have a second backstory that's like worse. And I hate that, because Zoro's story is so powerful to me. In regards to what he went through, it felt, in regards to One Piece and the Straw Hats, it felt small, right? It felt lesser. But this one person that Zoro watched die shaped his entire life. He is where he is because of Kuina, because he watched someone he loved die. This single person has affected Zoro for his entire life. It's not abuse through his childhood. It's not a whole town being blackmailed. It's not a whole island going up in flames. It is one person that he's lost, and look how that's affected him. Look how much pain he went through because of that. Right? And I think that's a very, very powerful thing for Oda to show. And it's why I like his backstory. It's short, it's simple, but it's effective. Because Zoro witnessed a single person die, and that has fucked him up for life. And that's the point. You're not meant to scale your trauma with other people. You're not meant to compare your trauma with other people. You all feel things differently. This one person that Zoro watched die affected him more than anything else he could have ever gone through in his life. Why must that be compared to in scale? Why must he need to go through more to be a better character? He's gone through what has been something so terrible for him. And that's why I like Zoro and I like his story. Because it means a lot. What he went through, it just meant a lot. And I like that. I very much enjoy that. He is totally shaped by Kuina's death, and it's so obvious, right? And again, it's these reasons why I like One Piece. And the way Oda explores these things. Right, and he didn't even witness it. But he saw her dead body and he just fucking lost it. Trauma scaling. That'd be such a good clickbait. Trauma scaling in One Piece. I personally can't wait for Sanji's third backstory. His name is Sanji. 3 for 3. Come on, we can do it, guys. If I did a trauma scaling tier list, it would be with Goofy. Fact. Law made up his backstory so people would feel bad for him. But yeah, look, the reason I argue to the wall about One Piece and why that 95% of One Piece, probably 99% of it even, that I will defend it and love it to like the ends of the earth, it's because it has changed so much about my own thinking regarding my own life and writing as well. And it's just done a lot with my own train of thought and my own person. The Luffy is going to die at the end. I've talked about this. I also believe that will go either way, because the whole point of Luffy is he doesn't do what other people expect him to do. There are so many red flags and death flags and foreshadowing with Luffy, but I can see him looking into the camera to us and saying, I'm not going to die. If Luffy says he's not going to die, he's not going to die. What won't I defend? Now I've talked about this. First of all, Sanji sniffing Piranha. First of all, Sanji sniffing Piranha. Second of all, the blast that Pell took was a bit big. I agree with Pell being alive because I get what Oda was going for, but the blast was a bit too big. That, I agree, was a little bit ridiculous. I can definitely agree with that. And the third thing is Dressrosa. I've talked about this. I do believe Dressrosa is the worst written arc. However, it's still my second favorite arc because it's also one of the best written arcs. Like, Dressrosa had a lot of lows, but its highs was so high that I can't not love it to such an insane extent. And the bad writing that came from Dressrosa is Oda took on a bit more than he could chew. He bit off more than he could chew. That seemed a bit obvious. He was just a bit here, there, here, there, here, there. He had to introduce the Straw Hat Fleet, and I understand that, but I think he was a bit flustered on how to introduce them because way too many things were happening Dressrosa at that time for him to be able to introduce these characters. And the biggest issue that I had with Dressrosa is he made the Doffy family, and he made the Doffy family to clearly, to an extent, mirror the Straw Hats, as in found family and the anti-found family, right? The way Luffy has his found family and the way Doffy uses his found family. And it felt like we were really shaping up to see the Straw Hats versus Doffy's family. Not because I wanted to see the fight, but because I wanted to see the emotional output and how the Straw Hats would help Doffy's found family, and them realizing they have been brought into a cult and they are being used like tools, and then half of them just left. And then half of the Straw Hats just left. And I am so sure Oda did that and he went, oh, fuck. He went, fuck. Now I need to take out Doffy's family, but I just got rid of half of the Straw Hats. And I was like, hang on a minute. So there were some problems there. And I do think there were a lot of issues in the writing in Dressrosa, but there were more better writings in Dressrosa than there were issues in Dressrosa, and the peaks that were in Dressrosa were just so phenomenal. Some of my favorite lines and favorite scenes come from Dressrosa. So he had some fumbles, but the fumbles that he didn't have were better than the fumbles. Do you know what I mean? His peaks were better than his lows, and I'll always argue that. Doflamingo. But yeah, it was just fantastic. But those are the things where I was like, Oda, what are you doing? I have no problems with Whole Cake Island. I adored it. Whole Cake Island is still my absolute favorite arc. I still argue Whole Cake Island was Oda at his emotional peak. It was just so phenomenal. But also, I personally, obviously I'm a Sanji fan, but I also really enjoy the themes of Dressrosa. They're just really cool to me. But yeah, Whole Cake Island's my favorite arc. Dressrosa's my second favorite. After that, I cannot pick. Because I like all the arcs. It's like the Straw Hats. I enjoy all of them. Like, to me, it's like Whole Cake Island, Dressrosa, SS tier. And then the rest of them are S tier. I cannot tell you guys, every single arc I went through for the first time, I was blown away. I was like, how is this getting better and better? Like, this is why I will always argue Oda is at his true best in the time skip, because he just kept evolving. And I was like, ah! I just couldn't get over it. Doffy is just the absolute perfect gaslight manipulator abuser I've ever seen. He is so fucking phenomenal, to the point that he even gaslights the audience. Some people will still argue that Doffy has a heart, or that Doffy did care about his crew. The fact that they argue that means to me, Oda did a superb job. A superb job regarding Doflamingo. Because I just see a man with no heart, who just did everything for himself. I'll simply never get over Doffy saying, at the age of 10, I've seen heaven and hell on this earth. And he said that to Law. Law, who's suffering, and what Law went through was also of such a disgusting scale. And part of Law's suffering was because of Doflamingo. Unbelievable. And I'm like, this man is such a supreme gaslighter, it's disgusting. Hang on, I think they're home. I want to go see them. Hang on, sorry, give me a sec. My roommates. Give me a sec, give me a sec. Right, I'm back. Doffy was trauma scaling, yes. Anyways, sorry, I wanted to go see Mary because Mary was taken to the vet. Nothing drastic. She just has a bad and upset stomach for some reason. And they gave her some nausea medication, so I hope she's okay now. Doffy has redeeming qualities. He's charismatic. It's just that his redeeming qualities are manipulative. Why can I not find a good song to use for the life of me? This is killing me. Oh, thank you. I'm glad you like them. Well, Guy with Three Eyes, he did have a good influence. It was his mum and dad. Because we have to remember, his mum and dad, even though they were celestial dragons, they were trying to move out of that life. And they were trying to bring Doffy into a more humble life. Doffy was literally yelling, "Oh, I'm going to shoot everyone!" And they were saying, "Doffy, no. No, that is not the life we live now." He did have that good. Like, and I know people argue that because, oh, but they're still celestial dragons. But my point is, he did still have that lighter influence, right? And he simply didn't care for it because he was a kid that just wanted power over everything. He was power obsessed. Papa! Where are my slaves, Papa? Well, that's the argument. Someone has asked me before, do you think Doffy cared about his mother? My argument is no. He just saw his mother as another one of his father's failures. Because she died, and instead of weeping on the bed the way Corazon did, he turned to his dad in anger and said, "You see what you've done?" That doesn't read as someone who really cares about their mother to me. That reads as someone who, or as a child who is a spoiled little brat who took this love for granted and uses that mother's death as a goddamn on their own father. Like, we see the difference between Corazon and Doffy. Corazon was weeping at his mother's bedside. Doffy didn't even shed a single tear for her. So, what? Like, I don't see a kid that really loved his mother there. I just saw a kid that was just full of anger because he had things taken from him. Like, his mother is yet another thing that was taken from him. I don't feel like he loved her. Doffy Sims do fix him. I've watched them do that. Doffy Sims are the ones that argue he actually cares about his crew and he actually has a heart. They're the ones that argue that. I've watched them do it. Like, they are the ones who will fall for the Doffy cult. I'm serious. This is why I laugh. Every time I see people sympathize with Doffy, I'm like, you would be in a Doffy cult. He would get you. You would absolutely be tricked by him. You can argue it's different versions of grief, but he still shot his own dad who loved him unconditionally. This was just a power-hungry child. He was raised in an area of power. He saw the power that he had. His power was taken from him. And he wanted it back. That's the most I see from that. Well, that's the argument, right? Guy with Three Eyes. That's the argument Oda's going for. Was Doffy really born a monster? Because remember, Corazon himself said Doffy was just always this monster. He said Doffy was born this monster. And that's what we are supposed to be arguing. I don't think Oda is saying either which way. Like, I don't think Oda is straight up telling us, yeah, Doffy was just born evil. We are supposed to argue that. Was Doffy really born this way? Was there an influence that we can argue? Were the Celestial Dragons the reason he's this way? Or even if Doffy wasn't raised around Celestial Dragons, would he still have this inherent darkness in him? That is what we are supposed to be arguing with Doflamingo. And it's why I like these conversations of Doflamingo. Either way, the way he is an adult, he's a monster. As a child, we can definitely argue how he was. But he felt like a brat who had his toys taken from him and only had sympathy for himself than anyone else. Well, that's why I really like the scene with Trouble, because a lot of people will say, well, Trouble did this, Trouble groomed him to an extent, yes. But Trouble is the one that said to Doffy, I will offer you power if you shoot your dad. That was the point. Doffy was choosing between power and a man who loved him unconditionally. His father was the only person who loved Doffy unconditionally on the world in that moment. That's why his father went out saying, Doffy, Rosinante, I love you. Because we are seeing, even though his own son is holding a gun to his head, he is still loving them unconditionally. Now, even though everything they went through is what they went through, he still loves them unconditionally. Doffy, in the moment, chose power over the unconditional love that his father was giving him. And Treble did not do that. That was Doffy's own choice. Point blank, it was Doffy's own choice. Treble gave him the choice. Power or your father who loves you. No one else on this earth loves you unconditionally like your father does. And he killed him. And that's why I'm saying I'm seeing a child who had his toys taken from him. And he was outraged that he had the toys that he wanted taken from him. And the one person that still loved him, he killed. So yeah, we can argue of Treble's grooming. But that's why you can also argue there was still some inherent darkness in Doffy to not care at all about his father's love. Much in Dressrosa made me cry. Fucking hell, Law's whole thing made me cry. What Rebecca and Viola went through made me cry. Baby 5 made me cry. I don't remember Doffy bringing his mother food in the manga. No. I just remember them eating for themselves. Look, the way I see Doffy is I see Doffy like a pit bull. Many people will argue if you raise a pit bull well, they will not lash out, they just need good trainers and they will not be violent. However, there's also the argument of the inherent violent nature of a pit bull that is just in there by blood because of how they were bred to be. That's the argument with Doffy. Could you train the evilness out of Doffy? Or the darkness? Did he always have that darkness in him? Is it just in his blood? Do you know what I mean? Doffy is the equivalent of a pit bull to me. Pitbull owners. Oh my god, I forgot they were a thing. I'm fine with pitbull owners, I just believe they definitely need to take like a very long course to have a pitbull. But I believe that with any big dogs because I'm scared of big dogs. I don't think anyone should be able to just have a big dog because they scare me. just can't find a song that I want. But let's not argue about the ethics of pit bulls. My point is, Doffy is very much like a pit bull to me. Which is why we can argue in circles about it, and that's the point. That's funny, I don't think Doffy has ethics either. I love the new chapter. New people here today. I'm sorry, this is very boring editing. For the life of me, I cannot find a song I want. One of my favorite lines from Dressrosa is when Doffy's talking to Law about if you had gotten there in time, the tragedy of Dressrosa, or like the tragedies of Dressrosa wouldn't have happened. And Law says to Doffy, so even you can admit that their lives being lost was a tragedy. And Doffy pauses and laughs and says, damn, you got me. Good point. As in, for a moment there, Doffy did seem to have that empathy for Person because he called it a tragedy. As in, Law has now gotten Doffy on that emotional loophole in the same way Doffy does to others. And then he just tries to kill Law. Which again is why Doffy is just such a good conversation point. Of, is he really just like this or not? Well, Wapple was going to be a Straw Hat originally. So I knew he was going to be important. Why can't I find a song I want? Man. Just like Condoriano. They do bring food to their mom, do they? I see. Now that does make it interesting. But I still view it as Doffy had something taken from him that he had, and not as an emotional thing. What I want it to be is I want Spanx to be real, and I want Spanx to get buggy. And he could do what Shanks could never do. Which was get the clown. If Buggy doesn't like Shanks, then by all means he could like Spanx. If they're not the same person. Spanx if he, Shanks if he wasn't a bum is who Spanx is gonna be. That's all Buggy wants. He likes Shanks, it's just he was a bum. I feel so good being right about Loki. Trust Luffy. For the love of God. For the love of God, trust Luffy. If Luffy wants to help someone, you trust Luffy. And that's like my #1 rule with One Piece. If Luffy likes and trusts someone, I trust Luffy. I wouldn't say I was nostalgic about Romance Dawn Trio. More, oh my god, Oda remembers they exist! Because he hasn't done anything with them since, Skypiea, Mucktown. And I was like, damn, it took him ages. But now my wonder is, how long is this gonna last? Because, Mucktown only lasted like 2 chapters. So, I'm waiting to see if this is going to be an arc thing, or if it's just gonna last like 3-4 chapters and then they're just gonna get back together. My assumption is something's gonna happen in that castle that's gonna fuck him up, and then the other Straw Hats are gonna have to be like, what the fuck did they do over there? My also next assumption is Zoro's actually not gonna meet Loki second. I don't think he's going to be able to make it to Loki. Because, again, I think something's going to happen in that castle. And someone else from the Straw Hats is going to stumble across Loki before... Or Loki's going to get, like, kidnapped or some shit by the Holy Knights. Something weird is going to happen, I know that much. But I don't think Zoro's going to be able to meet Loki next. But yeah, I am interested to see if the split we have with the Straw Hats is what Oda's going to keep. But I don't think it is going to be. I think it's going to be like Fishman Island. And something's going to happen in the castle. People are going to get framed. And the other Straw Hats are going to be like, well, better go get them. I have no idea how Vivi's going to come back. I just know she is. Roger found Shanks in a chest. Buggy, we have no idea. Right? I thought that too. Guy with 3 eyes. King Harold was going all over the world trying to form alliances, but Elbaph doesn't know anything about the world. That is very weird. Saul the villain? No. Not at all. I mean, who knows, but I'd be shocked. Remember, guys, though, don't overstay your welcome. I can't wait to see what that means. Or something's gonna happen in the castle and Gaban appears. And he goes, you're Monkey D. Luffy, right? Bet. And then all the Straw Hats gather to meet Gaban. Or Gaban turns up at the feast that the giants are currently having. And they go, oh fuck, you should meet Luffy, but we don't know where he is. It could, look, if it is Gabon, I'd love Gabon to have a moment the same way Rayleigh did for his first appearance. Which is absolute destruction of the enemies around him and going, hey, I just want to meet Luffy. This is doing my head and I can't find music that's like appropriate. See, I don't think the mysterious guy was in the underworld because the underworld's just frozen. I'm pretty sure it's just totally frozen. There was no snow, so I'm pretty sure the mysterious guy's in the sun world. Because we know there's forests there. We didn't just see sunlight, we saw a whole forest. And it was not frozen. This is killing me. Oh my god, it's only been 2 hours. I've not found a song. I really want it to be Gabon. But once again, I'm gonna cry laughing if Colin is not blood related to Ripley or Gabon. If it is Gabon. I'm just calling him Gabon for now. Because I really want it to be, so I'm willing it. I'm channeling it. Because Ode is a fuckhead, and he does this all the time. Calm down after having some time with his wife. I wanted to be Gabon so bad. But I'm also open to it being a Wano samurai from the past. Of course Mystery Guy's Colin's father. There are no other humans on the Sun World. They even say, we're shocked you made it here. No, Colin... God, we talked about this. It was the outskirts of the underworld, wasn't it? So it was on the shore, so there wasn't snow. I think. But we talked about this, and that was confusing. No other humans apart from Stinkman. No, Luffy will never realize he is Nika because he isn't. He literally said, well, people confuse me for him, but that's not my business. Like, he's not Nika. He will never be Nika or Joy Boy ever. Because he's Monkey D. Luffy. That's the whole point. Oh my god, this is killing me. Why can't I find an appropriate song? Nika, Joyboy, and Luffy, in my opinion, are three totally different people. Nika was the original. He just had that power, and people talked about him at the time. Over time, he became a god because story becomes fantasy. Fantasy becomes like mythology. You know what I mean? Like in Logue Town, which I advise you to reread, that's literally one of the things that the narrator says. That like reality, like stories from the past were reality that became fantasy, that became like mythology.
Whack his pee-pee.
So I believe Nika was just a guy. He had the power, he did influential things. Joy Boy just had the same power that he picked up because of the Gum Gum fruit that he unlocked. I don't think it has anything to do with destiny. And I don't think it has anything to do with a path. I think it's just these are people that got the Gum Gum fruit and wanted to see the world change, so with their own hands they made the world change. And over the course of history they have been mistaken for a god. And now Luffy's in that same area. I don't think it has anything to do with any kind of mythology or any kind of like actual gods. I think it's just Nika was a guy. Nika was a guy and he originated from somewhere, and over time he became a god. And over time Joy Boy as well became a legend who was mistaken for Nika. Like, it's not that when Nika appears the world's about to transform, it's that these people were so influential in their time and wanted the world to change in their time that they changed it. And causation is not... What is it? What's the saying? Fuck. Causation is not correlation, is my point. Or correlation is not causation, yeah. And now we are seeing the giants saying, we all want to be the sun god. We all try and channel the sun god. And it seems obvious to me. This is something that anyone can be. They just need the willpower to be it. They want that change to be it. Last Straw Hat's Vivi. I've always been on the Vivi agenda. Even before all the Reverie stuff. No, it won't be once they dissolve the monarchies. She will sail with them to dissolve the monarchies. That would be the point. Vivi wants the world to change. That's quite clear. She needs to sail with the Straw Hats to change it. Vivi is incredibly powerful. She's powerful because of who she is and her influence. That's why Imu probably this is why when people make Imu and Vivi a love story, I'm like, I just totally disagree, because we know Lily at the time was an influential person and she was someone who disagreed with Imu. And it seems to me Vivi is someone who can move the world. She is someone who can change the world. She can someone who can make people follow her. And Imu knows that. I think Imu very well knows that, and he wanted to put Vivi on lock because he knew she would be dangerous. Now she's out there, and the person that Vivi definitely needs to be with to change the world is the Straw Hats. Like, I will be incredibly disappointed if she just goes back to Alabasta. I see Imu being scared of her because my thought is Lily is clearly someone who disagreed with Imu back in the past, and Lily may have very well been someone who tried to raise the world against Imu at the time, and he's scared of that happening again. He's scared of someone who looks like Lily, sounds like Lily, has the same blood as Lily, to take over. To destroy the world that Imu has built for himself, right? Or themselves. That's what it feels like to me. Because people are saying, oh, but he's got a photo of Lily in the castle. Of course he does, because every single original monarch is probably framed in that castle. Why would they not be? They are the founders of, like, the world government. of course they're all gonna be like posted up, you know what I mean? Either way, we have found out Lily is like the original rebel against Imu. Lily did not agree with what Imu was doing, and that clearly pissed Imu off. I'm also so interested in what Cobra said. He said, I now know the role both I and Alabaster have to play. Alabaster, as a whole, has a role to play. What does that mean? Like, I can't wait to find out. What devil fruit would I want to... What? Idea? What do you mean? I joked about this with Anna. Whenever I read something in One Piece, I'm like, boy, I can't wait to find out what that means in 5 years. Oh, the joys of One Piece. I can't find any song that I want to use. I don't know what to do. It's been nearly 2 hours. Because this is a really awkward area where I'm talking about something serious, but I've got jokes in there. So I can't use a song that feels sentimental, and I can't use a too haha song. I need an in-between, and it's stressing me out. Ugh. Also, my head hurt. I do cut the music during the jokes, but it still can't be anything like serious. I'm just looking at my YouTube audio library list. Okay, I'm just gonna throw this in and hope for the best. Shut up! No, I don't think Joy Boy is going to reflect Odin. I don't know why it would. Odin's story is his own story. Joy Boy and Merriment Man. They were lovers. Right, Luffy's parallel is with Joy Boy, and Joy Boy's parallel is with Luffy. Although Luffy did still have parallels with Odin in that regard, but not to like that big of an extent. I only got one tattoo, but I want to get more. No, this song isn't working. Ah! Let's try this one. Oh, I should know this by heart, but what's the chapter where Sanji first gets captured by Black Maria? Well, if One Piece gets a musical, they should let Lin-Manuel Miranda make it, obviously. Damn, I'm hungry. I want my cucumbers and hummus, but I can't have them yet. I haven't earned it. "1005 is Devil Child. That's after Sanji's been caught. $9.97. Yep, there it is. Thank you. Sorry, give me a second. I want my cucumbers and hummus. I'm sorry, I'll be back. Bruh. Sorry for that. Apologize for the wait. Alright. For those who care, yes, I have my cucumber and hummus. I was just too hungry, I'm afraid. If you smell like the fruit you eat, then Zora would smell like Sanji. Also, yes, Shanks has lice. My mouth. Alright. Crunch ASMR. Sanji. Oh god, this is bad. I don't feel like editing today. I can feel it. My energy is not there. I think because a lot of male shonen fans don't know the difference between liking women and objectifying women. Probably. Don't get me wrong, Sanji has his moments, but he clearly, like, puts women above him. Nosebleed trope isn't just in shonen, it's like an anime thing. Guys, I don't want to edit. This is bad. I know I should, but I don't want to. I'm just simply not feeling editized today. Anyone want to play Mario Party? I made progress. I picked a song and I put a panel in here. I think it's because I don't have the camera footage yet. I feel that I'm only making half of this and it's upsetting me. You know what? That probably is the case. I don't have all the footage yet, and that's definitely making me go, I'm doing it out of order! And I don't like that. Alright. You know what then? Fine. Let's play Mario Party, fuck it. And hopefully I can record this tonight. I can feel that's what's happening to me. My head's going, you are not doing this the right way around. We cannot do this yet. Alright, well, if that's the case, Jamboree! We're doing Jamboree. I'll see you guys in 10 minutes, alright? I'm sorry for that. That wasn't too much editing, and I know. I apologize if you were using this to work. But, I'll see you in 10 minutes. Let me get my box. Alright. Thank you for joining if you're not going to join me for Mario Party. 10 minutes to Mario Party time. Bye bye for now. Bye 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 bye.